Hi viewers, good evening and welcome back to this channel. If you are new here, please do also like, comment and share, subscribe. Your opinion is needed in this matter because I see no reason why Nigerians will leave all the way from Nigeria and go to South Africa and crown someone a king. Normally, Igbo people does not have a king in their tribe. Igbo does not have king. They don't need king in their tribe because why? Nobody wants to be under somebody. All of them want to be equal. What they have is just youth leader and the rest. I see no reason why that someone that did not come from South Africa will go to South Africa and crown himself a king. And South Africa are reacting so bad about it. Just watch how Nigeria Igbo was crowned in South Africa and share your thoughts in the comment section.
Ilani for Chilozo. Ochilozo Patago. Yaweko. Obeloge, I am happy also me make a set. Obeloge me make a set. Ilani funa hall adigo busy. Ilani funi me hall adigo busy. Ilani funa people I know the sigonoche. Ile chichi. Abatasigo. Overlog Gaga what be also the occasion will officially start. Yes, Ilani focus on me. On the way come on the Mbata from Port Elizabeth. Yes. There's more East London. Yes, there's more East London. Yes.
A Nigerian man was crowned king in South Africa, sparking a row. Videos circulating online appear to show Chief Solomon Obuna Esiko receiving the title Igwe Nimbo na East London, which literally means the Igbo traditional ruler of East London, a city in South Africa's Eastern Cape province. The purported coronation ceremony took place on the 14th of March 2026, according to local media. The response from authorities was immediate and the controversy is getting more intense. Eastern Cape member of the Executive Council for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Zolile Williams, described the development as shocking. He warned that any attempt to defy and undermine South Africa's sovereignty would be met with the full might of the rule of law. Igwe is a recognized royal title in Igbo communities in Nigeria, referring to a king or traditional ruler serving as the custodian of culture, traditions, and values of the Igbo people. The term is also often used to show respect and is equivalent to Your Highness or Your Majesty. However, it is not recognized in the South African system. Like in most African countries, establishing any traditional leadership in South Africa requires recognized lineage, endorsement by existing traditional structures, and formal government approval. South African authorities say such approval has not been given for the controversial Igwe coronation. The Igwe coronation took place in an area under the Amahahabe kingdom led by King Njokusolo Vulolwande Sandile. The kingdom has rejected the development, stating that no such kingship exists within its recognized structures. The Eastern Cape House of Traditional and Khoisan leaders also described the event as a serious disregard for established customary systems and posed a direct challenge to legally recognized traditional institutions. On his part, South Africa's Deputy Minister for Cooperative Governance, Prince Zolile Burns Kamashe, condemned the reported coronation as deeply disrespectful, saying Nigeria's High Commission in Pretoria had been engaged on the matter for an amicable resolution. South Africa's Newsroom Africa quoted Nigeria's acting High Commissioner Alexander A.J. Odita as saying the purported crowned Igwe is an isolated incident and that he's not a king and he is not recognized anywhere in Nigeria. The Igwe chief Solomon Ogbonna Eziko and the organizers of the coronation have not yet commented on the backlash and their mission. Tens of thousands of Nigerians live in South Africa, many of them business people from the Igbo ethnic group, forming a community. The latest controversy has once again brought them to the spotlight.
Now, this is the coronation of a Nigerian king in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. But now, the South African authorities have slammed the alleged coronation of a Nigerian king, identified as Chief Solomon Ogbonna Eziko in Eastern Cape, branding it an unlawful self-styled action that violates South African law. The incident has caused outrage with local leadership at Gokta, calling for investigations into the illegal installation that threatens traditional structures and community relations. Now, the coronation took place in East London, Eastern Cape of South Africa. Reports of a vibrant celebration, as the video signifies. Now, the individual often describes themselves in social media posts as Igwe Digbo na East London, who is a Nigerian national, Chief Solomon Ogbonna Eziko. The Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs has slammed the move, calling it an unlawful impersonation of a traditional leader that risks violating South Africa's constitutional order and undermining the authority of local leaders. The area falls under the jurisdiction of established traditional rulers such as King Jonguzulu Sandile of the Amarabi Kingdom, creating conflict over jurisdiction. The traditional rulers and political figures are demanding a formal investigation into the matter, urging law enforcement to act against the organizers and potentially review their immigration status. Reports suggest this title is intended to represent the Igbo community in South Africa rather than rule over the South African soil, but critics view it as an encroachment on South African sovereignty. This event has generated significant debate around cultural representation, the role of international diaspora leadership, and the limits of traditional authority in South Africa. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is what is trending since yesterday, March 20th in South Africa. Now, a group of Nigerians who have identified themselves as the Igbo, the Igbo community who are dwelling in South Africa, they have decided to coronate their own chief. Now, to them, they are saying that the aim is not to rule over the South African soil. You know, they are just, it is just intended to represent the Igbo community in South Africa. So that's the reason why they are coronating a Nigerian who identifies himself rather as Solomon. Come on, Solomon Ezigbo, Solomon Ogbonna Ezigbo, or Chief Solomon. This is not the first time we are seeing something of this magnitude happening. Last year, the Igbos who are residing in Ghana decided to coronate their own king. Now they call him the Igbo king, and this was a very big problem because he did not just parade himself as a king, he equally intended on building an Igbo village, you see, in Ghana. And that was not all. He equally went ahead to, I think they were attempting to celebrate the New Year's festival. And that is when the Ghanaian media said, "Now, not under our watch. Granted, Ghanaians are peaceful people, but if you want war, we're going to give you war. You cannot leave Nigeria. You cannot leave Nigeria. You cannot leave your community to come and call yourself king in another man's land." And that is not the end of it. You are planning on building a village. You call it an Igbo village in Ghana. And then you equally want to celebrate the New Year's festival. What is happening? What is going on? You know what, guys? I want you guys to take a look at this video. Should in case this story is new to you, but to others, I'm sure. But either ways, let me just refresh your memory. Take a look at this video.
The father of all projects on his mind is the establishment of the first Igbo town in Ghana, and of course, the first in the world. As I'm talking to you, I've acquired 50 acres of land. That is 250 plus of land. My reason of acquiring this land is to build Igbo village in Ghana. I call it Amandi Igbo in Ghana. We'll build a village where we're going to build the palace of Igbo there, a huge palace. We'll build Igbo town hall there with about 2,000 capacity chairs and 100 rooms guest house.
Ghana is not a land for you to be boiled a nation. You are not a Ghanaian. With all due respect to you and to the Igbos, cancel that Yam Festival. There is nothing called Yam Festival in Ghana.
If Chukwudi bent on celebrating the Yam Festival, we say go ahead. You are not doing it in Nigeria, you are doing it here. So we've given you the passage. Come and celebrate it. All over the regional capitals. You dare celebrate it, will slight you out. Don't joke.
Now, Nigerians, I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. What is actually happening? Are you in support of this particular action or not?
Is there something explicit in the South African legal framework that prevents such from happening? But also they are saying it's an insult to established traditional leadership.
Well, culturally, it may be an insult, as I have said, but it's not something that is very new. It used to happen in the 1800s. The reason why the ATM has approached the Minister of Home Affairs and the Premier is exactly for the reason that the Premier is the one who must verify the status of the community over which he is, this new king is presiding. And the Minister of Home Affairs has to investigate his status his citizenship status, as I was saying earlier. If it is found that he is a naturalized South African from Nigeria, he may, to some extent, have a case to make that is being discriminated against if he is not allowed to be a king. But if he is not nationalized, the Minister of Home Affairs will determine that he cannot have such an entitlement. And the Premier will determine that he cannot be officially recognized by the Premier of the province as a chief or by the President of the country as a king.
Anyways, guys, this is what is trending on the internet. I thought it wise to bring it to your doorstep so you get to know what is actually happening in South Africa at the moment. Like I said, South Africans are about experiencing the same thing or the same fate that befell Ghana last year. But the South African opposition party, the African Transformation Movement, has raised a strong concern of the coronation of a Nigerian king in East London. Voila. So guys, take a look at this video now. This is coming from Channel Africa.
The South African opposition party, the African Transformation Movement, has raised strong concerns over the reported coronation of a Nigerian king in East London in the Eastern Cape. Now, the party says the move undermines South Africa's legal framework and the institution of traditional leadership, arguing that such titles cannot be established outside the country's recognized cultural and legal systems. ATM has called on authorities, including the Eastern Cape Premier, Oscar Mabuyane, and Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber, to urgently investigate the matter. We are now joined by ATM spokesperson Zama Nchona. Zama, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Good afternoon to you and the listener.
And now, just how can South Africa balance being a diverse society while protecting its institutions?
South Africa is open for all those who would like to come to this country legally. And South African rights, society, the space is open for all those who are open to practicing whatever culture that the individual has within the bounds of legality. But when individuals now move beyond that clearly demarcated line, we must stand and raise those critical questions so that we don't find ourselves, as is the case with our border, as is the case with the microeconomy of the country, as is the case with other sectors of society, where we found South Africans bowing down to visitors.
So Nigerians, what do you have to say? Because each time the host country complains of your misbehavior and your lack of respect for their traditions, laws and norms governing their country, you call them haters and jealous. You always play the victim card. Everyone can't, I repeat, everyone cannot be jealous of you. Again, let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. I'm going to leave you in the company of this video. This is coming from a Ghanaian, and I think he runs the Dutum network. This is his own definition of Nigerians. I am Ashoma Ayomide Dalilionga. Bye.
Nigeria, instead of trying to make yourselves relevant in other countries, instead of trying to insert yourselves into the social fabric of other countries by all means necessary, how about this? How about you go back home and build your country? You have a country that could use a lot of the smart people. How be it, ladies and gentlemen, that the ones who claim to be smart are leaving or have left the country, ladies and gentlemen. Who have they left behind? How will you build your country like this? You have abandoned your country to politicians and cabals whose interest is similar actually to yours. And here is my explanation to that. Similar to yours in the sense that these politicians and cabals have conquered the country and now enjoy the monopoly of their powers and will hold on to it by any means necessary as long as they can. And that same spirit, ladies and gentlemen, is what most young Nigerians carry around to other countries.
Tell me something, how does one go about being a king in a foreign land? Well, the Eastern Cape, which is East London, now has a new Nigerian king. When a lot of people are losing their minds about it. His name is Solomon Ogbonna Eziko. And yeah, you have to call him Igwe. He's basically the Igwe Indigbo na East London. This is basically a title that says he is the king of East London, that area there, over there, East London. Now, it has received mixed reactions. A lot of people are saying it's a good thing. They are rejoicing, a lot of them being actually Nigerian people. And others are saying it's disrespectful. How can you just go into a new land and become the king over there? Now, let's set the record straight. He's not the king of the people of East London, but he's the king of the Igbo people in East London. And I guess in South Africa at this moment, since he's the only king. I believe they tried to do the same thing in Ghana some time back, but they were kicked out or something like that. A lot of people are saying that, you know, they shouldn't be allowed and whatnot, this and that. But obviously, you can't just go into a new land and, you know, do whatever you want unless you had some help from the people within, unless you was given permission, so to speak, you know. Some people are saying you should be investigated. They should check their papers to see if they're legally there in the country, if they're legal migrants and so forth. And a lot of traditional healers in Eastern Cape have actually been offended by this move. Apparently, this Igwe is also a traditional healer from Nigeria. So yeah, what do you guys think about it? It's interesting times.
What people must know is the only way for South Africa to develop and succeed is for them to be ruled by a Nigerian president. And there should be one king of all South Africans. That is me, a Nigerian king. Africa should unite under leadership of Nigerians.
Hi viewers, so by the clip of video that you watch, I know that you have understood everything that be going on. I see no reason why that a country that does not have a king in their tribe, which is Igbo, will now go to another man's country to go and form a king all of a sudden. And that man entirely did not come from a royal family. He does not even come from a royal family. Just watch this video and share.